Hey guys, welcome to episode 10. I'm NetherCloud, and although hanging out in a composter is good fun in and of itself, that's not why we're back here today. I decided it was time to get some work done on the potion factory, and if you go back a few episodes, you'll see that we left off in a state where most of the work had been completed, but that we had a few more lines to run and we had to link it up to our main system. I've gone ahead and done that, and as you can see, the hopper lines are complete and they have composters on them to minimize lag. And we've got this new water stream coming out of our original bubble vader and diverting everything over to this system. Back there, we've got a standard Impulse SV sorting system. I'll link to Impulse's channel in the description because the man's a genius for that system alone. Many other reasons as well. But you should definitely check out his stuff. The great thing is that all of this is not only automated to pull out what we need, but once the system is backfilled, it'll then send the remainder of those items to the storage system. So once a particular item starts flowing back into central storage, we know that the backfill for the potion factory is done, and we can come up and start working on turning that on and getting it backfilled and supplying us with delicious potions. What does that bring us to, though? This, the tree farm, and the furnace array were three huge things on our checklist, and I thought it would be nice to finish that checklist out. The last thing I have on the technical, this really should have been done already checklist, is putting in an on-off switch for the bone meal farm that feeds our flower farms. And I think it's time to get that done. I don't really want to do it, but the satisfaction that's going to come from completing that, I think is going to be well worth the torment of rerunning redstone lines. So I'm going to hop down into the basement and get some work done. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes, and we'll go from there. Minutes turned into hours, but satisfying is definitely the word I'd use to describe the feeling I'm experiencing. I wish it were as easy as installing another redstone lamp and slapping another button up on the wall, but it took quite some time to reroute and clean up the redstone from the existing two lines, and then install the new line and mechanism for the on-off button. But with the completion of this, we now have full functionality and we are done with our chores. Being done with our chores means it's time to go and do a more fun project. And in truth, I've been working on the aesthetic of the iron farm, which has been a great time. And before I show that to you guys, I'd like to actually throw a few more finishing details up. So while I do that, I'm going to have you guys check out the progress we've been doing on our Nether hub. I know I said it would be a few episodes between progress updates on that, but I just kept going after I finished the last video, and I've got a bunch of hours. So check this out, and I'll see you guys over at the iron farm momentarily. I don't know if you remember a few episodes ago when we installed the iron farm, but during the construction of this on-off switch, I questioned whether anyone would actually want to turn off the iron farm. And I can tell you, after spending quite some time down here working on this aesthetic, and leaving the farm going, I might add, so that I'd make sure that I don't break anything mechanic-wise, we are definitely going to be leaving this in the off position for a while. We're absolutely swimming in iron, which was one of two positive side effects to spending so much time over here working on this build. The other of which was that we finally got the last few breeds of cat to fill out our collection. This ragdoll was the last one. The others have already been brought over to our sanctuary room. And once we breed up a couple more of these, I will safely transport them over as well. This was our first attempt at large-scale banners, and I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. I recreated my face on this one after initially doing the letter N over here, and then we did a third banner down there, which looks like glyphs, but if you look at it closely, it actually says cloud. I usually go by Nether, but I kind of liked the way this looked, so I ran with it as a banner just because we needed to fill some space, and it looked good. So all of this is functional, and some of you might be thinking, Nether, those vines are going to get out of control. But I actually installed a resource pack. We've used string to fully fence in all of these vine formations, and then used that resource pack to make the string invisible. Since you can turn off resource packs relatively quickly, I felt it was a good use of resources because now we can kind of make it more textured and detailed and not worry about having to look at ugly string poking out all over the build. Before we get into our next segment, I wanted to take a moment and thank a fan from upstate New York, a young man named Elijah, for tuning in. I heard that you really love the channel, and that put a huge smile on my face, and I wanted to thank you for that. I really appreciate everybody who tunes in and checks out the channel and comes over and checks out the live streams on Twitch. And if anybody ever has any questions or feedback for me, I absolutely love hearing from people. So please leave comments, join the Discord, follow me on Instagram. All that stuff will be linked in the description as always. And I look forward to getting to know all of you guys and seeing your builds and seeing how we can all grow as a community. By the way, don't you love this little torch detail? I'm actually using the armor stand mod that we were talking about back when I made that Hall of Legends build. And it's just holding an anvil and placed ever so correctly. I came up with a sequence so I could just assembly line all these and make them look cool. I think I could actually tolerate torches with this now. But anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Let's talk about what we've got coming up next. Over here, I was going to do some detail work on this wall just because I put this glass pane in so that we could see what was going on behind the scenes. And I thought maybe we could put our sugarcane farm there. But before I do that, I'm going to do some measurements. If we're outside of spawn chunks, then I'm probably just going to do some brick here and then put the sugarcane farm somewhere else. But in addition to the sugarcane farm, I'd also like to do a nether wart farm. I think those two are very achievable, especially since we're going to keep the sugar farm to a very small footprint because we don't need a lot, we just need a constant flow. This hallway I did up with the wood floor because I thought it kind of looked cool as a behind-the-scenes hallway. This is kind of the animal/service entrance we were working on that I still got to finish detailing up to the surface. It's a lot more done than I thought it was, though. I was up there earlier today. And this leads around here, which is massively more functional than it used to be back here after last episode. But it's going to be a while before I'm ready to tackle the aesthetic back here. If at all, I might just leave it messy like this. So let's get this done. After consulting my notes and looking at the available space that we had already dug out in our catacombs area, I decided that we would place the sugarcane farm here. This location falls within spawn chunks, so we will be getting a constant, steady supply of sugarcane as long as we're in the overworld. This is a Tango Tech design that I saw him building on a live stream for Hermitcraft 7, and although I didn't see the way he wired up the back because I joined the stream late, I think Tango would be proud of how we took care of it. As you can see, it's already producing quite well for us. If we do need more, we'll build more modules, but I think we're going to be just fine with how it is. The shield on my arm. This sugarcane farm was actually built a couple of days ago. And the reason I have a shield on my arm is that while preparing for the Netherwart farm, I decided that we were going to place it in a location that, of course, required us to dig out some space. We're going to put it down at the end of this hallway, and we're going to hide that hopper line and build a large space right into that wall. But what this means is that we're going to have to dig out a ton of stone, and as you all know, I like to keep my materials since there's no shopping district or crazy way to get materials other than harvesting them yourself, so I like to be as resource efficient as possible in this world. That being said, we needed some more shulkers, and I spent a few days making sure we're not going to have that problem for a while. Now, in addition to making sure we're not going to have that problem, when we get into doing this project, I'm going to make sure to run both copies of my recording software so that we have redundancy and we definitely get you guys another time lapse. So I hope you guys enjoy this one, and away we go. Woo. And just like that, we're producing Netherwart. I designed and tested this build in a creative world before placing it here so that we could make sure to get our dimensions right. We had to leave enough space for both the farm and the eventual decoration in our hole that we dug out, so I think we have enough elbow room to work with to do that. The way this is designed is that these dispensers will send water that will harvest all 4 platforms and send them all into a central line of hoppers, which feed into this chest over here. I've already filled it up with the Netherwart that we have so that when we go to do our first replant, we don't have to wait for the hoppers to send everything into the chest. When the chest is full, it does send a redstone signal to the back end here to tell it to send the remaining nether wart to that dropper, and this water stream is how it's introduced to our central storage system. It's hidden in here, and once we get a little bit of building going, this is going to look very nice. Before we can double the capacity of our farm, we're obviously going to have to dig out this hole a bit more, and we do have to make a trip to the Nether to grab a bit more soul soil to finish this out. We're going to be able to link it into the same hopper line, so everything will still feed into that chest and link to our central storage, but we will be getting twice as much nether wart per harvest. And even though that does mean that we're going to have to do a bit more replanting, I am very happy with that, since we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of backfill to deal with our potion factory. So I'm going to get to digging and getting soil, but before I do, I wanted to share the first harvest with you guys. I think we've let this grow long enough. There might be one or two that are still at the early stages, but this is the first official test of the harvest of the machine. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Now that should automatically re-grab the water in a moment. Yep. And all of that should flow nicely into those hoppers. We should see it in this water stream since the box is already full. Oh, that is amazing. Guys, I couldn't be happier. There's nothing better than when you see your machine work. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more work done on this. And if you guys have made it this far, please like and subscribe. And then I'll see you in a moment. With that time and effort put in, we've completed the task of doubling the capacity of the farm. If my math is correct, I believe we should be getting about 26 to 52 stacks of nether wart per harvest if we wait for them all to be fully grown. Invariably, there will probably be a couple that are not fully grown, but that's okay. Nothing has to be 100% efficient. We're going to be pushing some really good numbers with this farm. We didn't have to add much redstone other than the line that runs the dispensers down the middle on this side, and that's triggered off the same trigger system as the first half. I did start working on the block palette down here, and I think we're headed in the right direction, but obviously this is still extremely rough, and I'm just trying to feel out what I want to do with the area. That's going to have to come in a later video, though, because we are quickly approaching the end of time for this one. And I just wanted to say one final thank you to everyone out there. I will be putting out a build tutorial on this farm, so keep an eye out for that in the future. But I do have a few things coming up in my personal life that I have to attend to, so it's going to be a little while before that video comes out. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have a great day or night or whatever it is where you're at. Take it easy, guys.